We are, I love these sessions that we do on Friday mornings because I look at it from really two big benefits, and I'm sure a lot of you guys see this as well. Number one, it's always great to sit and chat with somebody or a person that we know has been in the business and has had great success, has found great success because we know that success leaves behind clues. So we can always look at those things and, have a model for our own business. And secondly, it's great inspiration. A lot of times it's great inspiration. And I always feel like it's a privilege for us to get to know another human being because you never know who they are, where they came from, what they're going through, unless you really sit and talk with them and ask them good questions. And so I'm so excited to introduce to you guys one of our agents that just joined our Palos Verdes office and also as well as with her team. But she's not new to real estate whatsoever. She's been in real estate for quite some time, has been just wildly successful as a top agent, and was even at one point a team leader of a market center and led a market center. So, really a leader through and through. Let's welcome Wendy Rich Soto. You're going to hear like a Zoom applause, which means there's no real applause. You don't hear anything, but there's a Zoom applause going on. I promise you. There we go. We got some. We got some applauses going.
Awesome. Good morning.
Good morning. So, Wendy, look, super excited that you're here, of course. And for those that don't know you, we're going to just, I'm going to ask you a few questions about who you are, a little bit of your background. And let's just see, I mean, did you grow up in Southern California? Are you originally from here?
No, I'm actually a transplant. I've been here for 17 years. I'm originally from the San Francisco Bay Area.
Got it. Okay, so up north,
Yes.
today's weather is very similar to maybe
Yes.
the Bay. You guys, yeah, hook up to some wet weather out there. Okay, well, what brought you to Southern California?
Um, well, it wasn't really a happy circumstance. I was going through a divorce and it happened during the worst time it could have. It happened during the downturn. So
Mm,
2008. Um, and I was living in the Central Valley where property values are very low. They still continue to be very low. And it's not a real good place to be an agent for that reason. And I had always wanted to live in Los Angeles. So I'm like, okay, well, I'm getting divorced. What can I do? I want to move to LA. I always wanted to live there. So I just picked up and moved here and started over.
good, and you've been here ever since, and we're glad you're here. And now let's kind of talk about real estate. How did
Yeah.
you get started in business? What originally drew you to that?
So it's kind of an interesting story. So we were living in a house that we had had for over 7 years. And that's what I mean about the Central Valley. It took 7 years to be able to have a kind of an equity position to sell that property and move. The house was too small and um, it wasn't in the right area. We had moved there not knowing areas and it really wasn't the right area to be in. So we went to sell it and buy another one. And we hired this mom and dad group to help us, but she just stuck her sign in the yard and that was it. She didn't do anything. And I was desperate because we were having a house built and we needed to hurry up. So I was trying so hard to get the house to sell and I kept asking her what I could do and she wasn't giving me any ideas really. And so I just kind of looked around at my house and thought about things that would make a buyer not want it. And I started doing things, fixing things and stuff like that to try to make it more enticing. And then I would kind of host, any buyer that came through and talk to them and, kind of feature sell the house and whatever. And we eventually sold it and I did get into the new house. So when it was all over, her dad came to the door of my new house, knocked and said, "Oh, I wanted to congratulate you on your new house. And oh, thank you so much." And then he says, "But I really like you and I think you have what it takes to make it in this business. How about if I help you get your license and you come work for me?" And I was like,
Wow.
my kids had just hit middle school. All three of them were like, at a good place. And I'm like, okay. So that's how we started.
So was that a pretty, I mean, easy yes for you, or did you have to think through a lot of things?
It was an easy yes. I'd always been attracted to real estate. My dad had a girlfriend that had been a realtor, and I thought, wow, she was really cool, and her whole life and everything that was going on with her, I thought that was amazing. And my grandmother used to always take me to model homes, and we'd walk through the model homes. And so I always had like that in the back of my mind, almost like it was supposed to happen. So it was like I was waiting for the knock on the door or something. It was weird.
Okay. So what were those first 12 months like? I mean, were you going through the challenges that most newer real estate agents go through where the business is not coming immediately for you, or did you just immediately take off?
So that was also very interesting. I did just immediately take off. This was back in the day when you had a storefront and people would just walk in. So I had a walk-in client that he said, "Hey, take these people," and so that was my very first buyer and took them around. I think it took 3 months, but got them into a house, and she referred me to her sister who had a mobile home. So that was my first listing. So I listed a
Okay.
mobile home, and then I sent out a just listed card. So I got a regular house listing around the corner from the mobile home. I double ended the sale of the mobile home. I sold the people that own the mobile home a regular house. I sold another couple a mobile home in a different park. So it was like 6 transactions in that one walk in right away. So it was pretty crazy. And I thought, well, this must be the right thing for me because it's working out.
Well, I mean, I'll tell you this, Wendy. I mean, with even from myself, my perspective of being in this business for a long time, it's never just luck and just because you happen to be there and someone walked in. It obviously, I think it definitely is obvious that it takes talent. It also takes, skill and just your, work ethic to be able to get that many transactions out of it. Because I mean, in all honesty, you could have screwed up with the first one, or anybody else could have, but you're the one that made it happen. So
Uh,
credit to you for that too. It's not
Thank
just the,
you.
someone just walked in and you got lucky. You got to do the work.
Yeah,
Agree?
you do. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
And it's not easy. I mean, for sure you got to be really committed to what your outcome
yeah.
is. Yes.
And I'm really giving that message to everybody out here because, I mean, I was certainly in that place where I thought to myself, man, why some of these agents are just getting lucky. Buyers and sellers they just happen to be at the right time at the right place and they're just getting lucky. And there might be some truth to that. They did happen to just have that, right time, right place type of event, but it also definitely just takes time or it takes the work in order to do that.
Yeah.
So would you say, look, I mean, real estate is still up and down.
Oh
We go
yes.
through, whether it's the market, I mean, there are shifts. We've been going through shifts, probably two different types of shifts within the last few years. Have you ever faced a moment, Wendy, just even in your business where you thought about, you know what, this just isn't for me. I want to walk away, even if that thought lasted for 5 minutes. You thought, I don't know if I can continue doing this.
Well, honestly, when it happened for me is when I moved to Southern California. I remember it very vividly because it was really, really difficult. I had been an agent for 8 years already. I was in new homes for over 5 years, and I had done resale for three. And I moved here thinking it'll be easy. I'll just come here and I'll just do it here. And no, it wasn't easy. For one thing, I was used to selling basically new construction or homes that had, been built within the last 20 years. And here, there's homes that mainly are, 75 years old to 100 years old. And then a lot of condos. I'd never sold a condo before and didn't understand that whole thing. So it was such a learning curve, and I needed to make money. And I was terrified because I was all by myself now, that I thought maybe I'm just not going to make it. Maybe it's just not going to work out. And I remember calling my grandfather, who was a business owner, and he had, just he had worked for other people, and then he went into business for himself, and he was a cabinet maker, and he had worked all day, and then he'd go out with his formica samples at night, and visit people and try to get business until he built up that business. And he told me, he's like, you're going to do this. I know you're going to do this. He's like, but it's going to take you 5 years. So then I totally freaked out. I thought, 5 years? I don't have 5 years. He said, I'm not saying you're not going to do any business. I'm just saying to get to where you're known and you're solid. 5 years, get established. So you're going to have to work, and it's going to be hard, but you're going to do it. And I was so grateful that he took the time to have that conversation with me, because I was going to give up.
Yeah, yeah. So, and sometimes it just takes knowing someone else is believing in you
Yes,
to get through it.
definitely.
That's really what it is. Thank you for sharing that, Wendy. And I appreciate the vulnerability that you went through, because now, I mean, hundreds and hundreds of homes later, here you are. So love that.
Yes.
Well, I mean, now let's look at, I mean, you mentioned you learned a lot, and you knew that you had to learn a lot, but what's really one thing you wish you had known as a brand new agent that you think could have changed something for you early on?
As a new agent, and especially after being a team leader and bringing new agents into the business, um, the main thing I tell people is, including my own kids, is you can't listen to all the noise. Like, there's so many things as a new agent, and just as an everyday agent that's been doing it a while, people are always trying to sell you things. Oh, you got to do this, you got to do that. This is the next thing you need for your
Mm.
business, right? And our businesses are based on the people that we work with. And if we're constantly looking at all these different new tools and websites and different things that, are being offered, we totally don't focus on what we're supposed to be focusing on, which is the people that we're trying to serve. So that's my message, is to really just focus on connection and relationships, because that's how you're going to be able to build a business.
No, Wendy, I've known you for a short time now, but I already know, I mean, you're a very personable person, easy to talk to, and I'm sure you have an easy time talking with others. But aside from, I mean, can you just break it down for me? Just, I mean, for me to learn too, I want to learn this too. What's something practical that someone can do to really love on their people, to really connect with their people? I mean, if real estate is really about that, building that connection and those relationships, what would you tell an agent? Hey, do this next week for the next 7 days. Focus on this one practical task. What would that be?
It would definitely be like, if you're going to start with your sphere of influence, to be able to just call, and for don't even have any type of ulterior motive, just call people that that you care about, and talk to them and find out what's going on in their lives, and see how you can connect with them on anything that's going on, whether it's just to encourage them or to tell them, oh, hey, I've been there, or maybe you have a resource, something or someone that you can give to them that will help them, that kind of thing. That is such a good thing to do, and it keeps you in their mind. And that's also opening the door to being able to have further conversations. If you're going to keep talking to them, keep touching them, I think that that's one of the best things you can do. Instead of looking for strangers, you can look for people that you know, and try to find ways to be of service to them.
So, Wendy, are you telling me that it's more effective to call people on the phone and spend your day that way on the phone with your people than on your computer working on a marketing flyer for your open house?
Yes, 100%.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. And that's the thing that I think that's great advice, because that is uh something that, I mean, I've learned and I've fallen into, where you're spending hours and hours working on your marketing when it's just a matter of just picking up the phone and calling and loving on your people. So
right.
thank you for that. No, that I think that's great advice. Now, what being in a shifting market now, I mean, we had interest rates jump up, now they're starting to cool off. I mean, where do you see the industry going as a real estate agent? If you're a brand new agent or someone that's thinking about getting their license, like, Wendy, I want to get into real estate. Where do you think this industry is going with Zillow, with Compass now merging with the Anywhere brand. And what's going on with this industry? What are your thoughts?
I mean, I think there's all kinds of mergers, right? I mean, there in our world right now, there's so many things that are going on, and so many companies that are eating up other companies. And basically, I would say that it's still, no matter what is happening out there with the big companies and things like that, it's still a service business. It's still a connection business. It's still a people business, and it will remain so. People are like, "Oh, artificial intelligence is going to take over the world." Well, it might, I guess, but are you going to want to buy a house from a robot? I mean, really, I think that we have to be thinking in terms of people to people. And, if we think about like the Seven Habits, that book by Stephen Covey, one of the things that's in there is to sharpen the saw. I think we as agents need to be constantly looking for ways to be better at what we do to serve others. And if we'll continue to do that, we'll continue to have business regardless of whatever changes come our way in this industry. After getting licensed in 2001 until now, our regular purchase agreement has gone through so many changes, right? And you
Yeah.
just adapt to the changes. And that's what people have to remember. You've got to adapt to whatever's changing, because otherwise you won't be doing this for your career. You have to be willing to be flexible and to adapt. And as long as you do that, you know, you'll continue to grow with the industry, whatever it's doing.
Always learning, always growing, and always being coachable. That's what
Yes.
I'm hearing, Wendy.
Yes.
Yeah, we all, this question just popped into my mind, Wendy, and because, I think for most people, especially in your position and with your success, you've had mentors, you've had coaches, you've had, even if it's for a short period of time or if it was for several years, can you think of, a person or even a couple people that have been really that voice of, hey, coaching you, really inspiring you? Like, can you think of a person like that? And could you tell us about that a little bit?
Well, when I think about my real estate career, I always thought things were going to stay the same. And of course they didn't. But when I started out, I went to Prudential, and I had a sales manager, and he
Hmm.
was so serious. He was from New York, and he was teaching us in our class, all of us newbies. It was called Rising Stars. And he would tell us things like, you got to have a real estate car. Your car has to be clean. You got to make sure the inside's clean. You got to make sure the outside's clean. You got to make sure that when you're wearing shoes, that even if you don't have money for new shoes, you've got to polish your shoes. You've got to make sure they look nice. You got to make sure, you're wearing clothes that aren't all wrinkled. Just stuff that's so basic, but still it
Hmm.
was like it made you really pay attention, because if you wanted to be successful, and he was obviously very successful, and I looked up to him a great deal. I was like, what is this guy telling me? Okay. So I just absorbed everything he was saying like a sponge, like, okay, I got to make sure, my pants are ironed. I've got to, make sure my hair is not a mess. I've got to, and those types of things really made a difference. They seem very simplistic and very basic, and like, oh, what does that have to do with anything? But again, this is a people business, and first impressions, right? How people see
Hmm.
you, how they perceive you when they meet you is really important. So it's not just what you say to them or whatever, it's like everything. And I think, if you're willing to do that, to be prepared to meet people in your best light, is going to be very helpful.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, I'll like to throw this in there, and I'm sure you would agree to this, Wendy, because it's not even just the perception that others have. It also changes something with your own mindset and just
Yes.
even your attitude, the way that you carry yourself. There's a feeling with nice shoes and I mean, I certainly don't wear a suit every day, but just at least nice clothes and you're nice showered and looking good.
Yes.
There's a little something to that, isn't there?
Yes, there sure is. I mean, you just, I think it makes you feel, it sounds very strange, but still, this is how I feel. If I come ready to meet someone, like at an open house or whatever it is, or
Yeah,
it's the first time I'm meeting someone to take them out to show property or whatever, if I come ready, I have this air of confidence, not a cocky air, but just, confidence. I can do this for you. I can be here for
mm,
you. I can take you through this process. I can show you what you need to know so that you can be successful with whatever your needs are. I think that it really does do that. It makes you know that you're
yeah.
ready to help someone. Yeah.
That's so important. Yeah, definitely. That's just that confidence, and people actually, I think they see that in you, and that has a lot to do whether they hire you or not.
Exactly.
When they see
100.
it. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Well, Wendy, you recently, joined us here Palos Verdes with your team. Of course, we're super excited, and we always talk about little Theodore too as
Oh,
another honorary member, which is your grandson, who's just so adorable. What are you excited about in this? I guess you can call it a new chapter, new KW Market Center. What are you most excited about?
well, it's interesting, and I truly don't even know what held me back. I always wanted to be in that office. I always always wanted to be in the Palos Verdes office from the time I moved here. It's like, oh gosh, I really would like to be in that office. So I'm excited because in the time I've been here, in the 17 years that I've lived here, I've done a lot of transactions on the Hill. I've actually done more listings in Palos Verdes than I've done in San Pedro, which is interesting, but that's what's happened. So I'm excited to be able to do more of that and to branch out my business a little bit more into beach cities and that kind of area because I'm just right here. So I'm really super excited about that. And then just the team growth. I'm excited that both of my girls are with me again, and that we're kind of looking forward to what we're going to do next as a team, and for a mom with two out of three of my daughters being with me, it's like pretty special. So I'm really
Yeah.
excited for that. And then just the learning opportunities of being in your market center. You're a great team leader. I'm super excited to work with you. And of course, many is being with many is like it elevates you to just a totally different place in my mind. It's like the things that you guys bring that it helps us to learn and become better. I'm excited for all of that because I want to always grow, and I want my kids to be able to know more, and I know that putting them in a good environment will help them to be able to do that. So that's so exciting for me, for sure.
Well, Wendy, I'm also excited too because you've been in real estate a very long time. For me, I'm always wanting to learn, of course, from other agents as well. So when I found out that you would be coming with your team, which are your two daughters, I was like, oh yes, I've got another person in here there I'm gonna learn from. I'm gonna, and we were even texting each other last night about AI a little bit. We're going back and
Yes.
forth and asking questions about that. And I'm like, oh yeah, this is gonna be a time where I can lean on another agent, a top agent, by the way. And hopefully I can knock on your door sometime here and there and pick your brain about different things too, as well.
Yes, absolutely. That's going to be great because out of those conversations, we both will probably grow, right? We're going to both learn things that we probably didn't know
Yeah.
before, and I love sharing that. I mean, I love that KW does masterminds, and we're able to share ideas and things because it helps us to be better.
Well, I'm glad you brought. We've got a lot of stuff at KW coming. So if you haven't registered for Jason Abrams coming into town at the LAX Renaissance Hotel October 6th. So I think Wendy, you said you were going to be there, right?
Yep. Yeah, that's going to be a
Yep.
great
I mean,
one.
I mean, if a top agent that's been in the business for 20 years is going to show up still wanting to learn, I mean, the rest of us, we have no excuse. I think we, and amen to that. Wendy, if you had to sum up your philosophy, your approach to success, everything in one sentence, and I'll let you go 1.5 sentences if you want it, if you would like. Like, just sum it up for me. What is your philosophy? What is like a mantra that you've held on to?
Well, it's something that my grandmother taught me. Obviously, she didn't come up with it, but really, it's the golden rule. I mean, as far as um, I don't know, not everybody's religious, but Matthew 7:12. It's basically do unto others as you would have done to you. And I think if you keep that in your mind as you're trying to be a realtor, you think, okay, what if I was this seller? What if I was this buyer? And you approach your business like that, you'll do well. Absolutely do well.
Going back to the people business thing too. I love to always say, look, you could be great at marketing, you could be great at negotiations, but ultimately you have to be likable.
Yes.
People gotta you have to someone like you in order for them to hire you, want to work with you. And being likable means treating others the right way.
Yes, absolutely. Because there's a lot of people in this industry that don't do the right thing, and they still somehow find success, which is sad. But they hurt people, and they also give realtors a bad name. And so
Yep.
we've got to be the good guys. We've got to be the ones that say, no,
Yes.
no, no, it's not like that. Let me show you that we can be trusted and that we're good people. And that's a light, being a light in the world. So that's what we need to be.
And I think that's where Gary came up with the win-win or no deal. It's got to
Yep.
be both a win for both sides. We have just like 2 minutes left. If anybody wants to throw in a question, you can put it in the chat, or you can just unmute yourself that you want to ask Wendy, whatever it is. Now is the time to do it. Does anybody have anything that they want to ask her before we wrap this up? If
Crickets.
you got to
I
jump in
just want to
now.
say that we should all be watching this recording. This was by far one of the best. I keep thinking about this, but the best interview. And if you just play this in your car and you just take in the last half hour, it is so worth the investment to do so.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you, Wendy.
Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate you for saying that.
Yeah, no, I agree, Philip. Listen to this again. Listen to this again on your drive home, drive to work. Anybody else? Any other thoughts, comments, questions? We're getting a lot of hearts. We're getting a lot of confetti. We're getting a
Yes.
lot of claps and
Just thank you. Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Yeah, Nasser says thank you. So, of course, we'll have this recording up on our YouTube page, and you guys can listen to it again. Thank you so much, Wendy, for all of this. Again, I'm going to be watching it again too. And wow, great producers club. And Wendy will be around in our market center. You will see her, and of course, October 6th, she'll be there too, where we'll have all of our agents together at the LAX Renaissance. So make sure you register for that as well. And thanks, Doug, for hosting and letting everybody in. Thanks, guys, for joining. Have a great rest of your Friday and a powerful weekend. Bye,
Thank
guys.
you. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
Wendy.
Thank you, Wendy.
Thanks, Richard.
Thank
Thank you.
you.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.